that our friends will join us as well, Fernando and Rodrigo. Very happy to see you here. Hello, hello. The sound is coming, I hope, Fernando, now? Now, yes. Yes, we had to reboot everything, and there's also Bossa Nova now. Before you entered, before you entered class, there was a Bossa Nova playing, so I guess it was right. Before, I did not hear it. Happy to see you here. We are starting a new week, and we are starting it in a way when people are reading the Torah or the Bible according to books or portions this week or this coming Saturday, people will start to read the second book of Moses, which is named in English Exodus, but in Hebrew, the second book of Moses is named differently, named after the word Shmot. Shmot. This is very interesting for us. Let me write it. This is Shmot. Shmot. It means name. It means names. Names. Plural of Shem. Shem is a name. Shmot are names. And why the second book of Moses is called Shmot? Because the first verse, yes, in this book start in the words Ve'ele Shmot, Bnei Israel. And these are the names of the children of Israel who are descending to Egypt. Interestingly, this book is known as Exodus, which is meaning in English to go out of Egypt or exit. It means to exit, to go out. The interesting name in Hebrew says something in a way deeper. Whenever a child is being born, or a baby, it doesn't mean if it's a kitten or a child, usually we name the baby. Whether it's a boy or a girl, kitten or puppy, if we have a relation to the newborn, we name them. So every body which is appearing in space and time has a name. And the fact that the newborn has a name or there's a new appearance here, it means this one will experience duality or Egypt. This concept is understood, the relation between having a name, yes, and living under the world of duality. Yes. So this is simple. This is why the verse starts with the following words, Ve'ele Shmot. Because the Bible does not speak about historical event. Whenever there's new life coming, every moment, every single second, life is coming. It doesn't matter in which hospital, in which I'm excited, in which hospital or in which country, and it doesn't matter if it's a puppy or a kitten. Life is coming every moment. Once life is appearing here, they receive a name. When there's a name, it means there's like concept of duality, because the nomenon or the source went out and in a way represents itself in space and time. Everything that has a name appears in space and time, and not just children and babies and humans and kittens, and so also when we, let's say in our life, when we say a table, it means that this table appears because we say there is a concept of a table. So it has a name, table. It doesn't matter now which language do we speak. And this is quite interesting because the fact that all of us use languages or language to speak, it means we are living in space and time. Is this concept understood? The relation between language and space and time is understood? Because the language is built from what? From words, from names. And whenever we are borrowing words from the infinite consciousness, those words that we are using, appearing here, are being heard. They have a body. Now the question is, I would like to ask you. Here there are, all of us are attending here this meeting, and there are names: Connie, Yanis, Jill, Zeno, Abigail, Cindy, Rodrigo, Fernando. Those who are attending here received a name at the moment of birth. And each and every one of us is convinced that he is, let's say Yanis is sure that she is Yanis, and Connie as well, and Jill as well. But all those names which are appearing, those names are borrowed. This is not being. Do we understand that? Those names that we received in birth, Fernando, Rodrigo, Cindy, Abigail, all of those names are borrowed for the time that we shall be active, or this doer will be active, or action figure will be active in space and time. We are borrowing. We were, in a way, granted with names. And those names are borrowed. And under those names we shall serve. But this is not the being. Is this understood? So in a way, there's like a dualistic nature to each and every one of us. The action figure that has a name, that has address, that has birth date and family story. This is the action figure, like when there's a script or a movie. So one of the, let's say, characters has a name, has a profession, has an address, has a car. But this is in a way one of the characters. It's not the being of an actor role into his character. So each and every one of us has or lives seemingly dualistic, in a dualistic way. There is the action figure. Sydney, yes, let's say Sydney, not Sydney, but Cindy. Let's invent something. Yes? Cindy, let's say, is a teacher. Let's say this is the occupation. She goes to school every day. She has a class and she teaches every day. And parents are familiar, this is the teacher, and so on. She is acting as a teacher. She does what a teacher does. But inside, there's a being mode which is not associated with the teacher, let's say with the mother or with the wife. There's simple being. The being is not acting. The being is not wearing any characteristic. Is this understood? Rodrigo, is this understood? Yes, yes. Fernando, is this understood? That the names, yes, when somebody says, let's say there's an airport, there's a flight, and the attendant say, Mr. Such and Such. So Mr. Such and Such will approach because he was called or somebody called his name. So he will come, Mr. Let's say Johnson, he will come. Because we are programmed like this, that part of us, the doer, is associated with the name, with the address, with the profession. And this is the doer. This is how, in a way, the source causes all of us to move and to act, because through names, through the appearance of a body, yes? And there's the being, which is not impressed at all of what is happening here. The being inside of each and every one of us is not impressed at all from whatever scenario is happening. The being inside is not impressed from fire, from flood, from war. Yes? It is not impressed at all. It's not even being moved. Is this understood? The action figure in us, yes, might be responsive. Let's say when there's attack or there's a siren or there's a threat of fire or a threat of water or flood, the action figure, like any animal, I would say, will have this sense of moving or to stay away from a danger or to move away. This is the action figure. The action figure, in a way, is motivated by the senses, and if there is a reception of any sense of danger, the action figure will take action. To what? To keep us alive and moving and going on. But the being is not impressed, moved, or touched by all of these. And all of us having the same being inside of us. The being is not impressed from this dreaming that we are calling life. Yes? Because it's not conditional. And if you have questions, please, you can unmute and ask questions if you like. Rodrigo, Fernando, Jill, Yanis, Cindy, Abigail, please feel free. So again, by the fact that we are carrying names, or we were granted with names, or somebody borrowed a name for us, it means that the action figure is living in space and time. But the action figure in each and every one of us is not the being. The action figure, let's say, in us believes, convinced completely that we are those who are born in this date, that we are those who are living in this address. This is the action figure. And the action figure will also, or believes that we are limited to this body, to this story, to this narration. This is the action figure. And the action figure, or the perspective of the action figure, will lower us and will box us in this narrow way, but not the being. The being has no beginning nor end, not even middle. This is just being. It has no limitations at all. It's not impressed from anything, does not experience polarity, like light and dark, cold and warm, night and day. Yes, Cindy? Yes. Yes. They were, yes, because they are the being. Yes. Each and every one of them, yes. There is a beautiful podcast, 1 hour about it, that each and every one of them in his name is expressing the mode of being. Joseph is 6 times being, and Jacob is 7 times being, and both of them were not buried in Egypt. Yes, because this is a being. Being does not need in a way a place or a grave. This is quite interesting question. Yes. So the more, and this is because during the day all of us experiencing different moments or mode. The more we are associated with the action figure that has a name, address, ta 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 ta, the more we are narrowing ourselves down. We are jailing ourselves in a cage. The more we are associated with the action figure. What is the action figure? The action figure has a name. So the more we are associated, and we say, the name is me. Yes. The name is me. This is where we are jailing ourselves. The less we are associated or detached from the name, the action figure, the story, my life, my, and so on, the freer we become. Is this understood, this principle? Rodrigo, Yanis, Jill. So it is better for us if we can notice this during the day, that processing, Jill, you're processing. The more Jill, can I speak with your name? Can I? You can also unmute if you like. If you're not in driving, it's not jeopardizing anything. Can I give an example? Yes, yes, Jill. Good morning.
Good morning. How
How
are
do you
you?
do? I'm fine. How do you do?
I'm good. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm
And
still processing. I mean, it's I can definitely understand what you're saying and relate. It's the processing of just the whole conversation, which is a good thing. But yes, you can use me as an example anytime.
thank you.
Mhm.
So let's start an exercise. The more I will associate, let's say, myself with Jill, I'm Jill, I'm the one who's born in certain date, in certain season, let's say, in a certain state, in a certain, let's say, hemisphere, continent, the more I will hold on in my mind to this story. Yes. Yes, Yanis, you're right. Need constant reminder because of the brain. The more I will hold, or all of us will hold in the brain, in this story, that my name is Jill, and I was born in this state, in this season, and this is my school, and this is my college, and this is my friend, and this is, let's say, the center that we used to hang out there, or this is our basketball court. And the more I will recite, let's say, this is, my name is Jill, I was born this season, in this school, in this college, here we used to hang out and fish in a lake, here we used to make a ski in the wind. The more I will hang myself and cleave into those details and recite them to myself and to others, the more I'm jailing Jill. Is this understood? And to everyone, The more Rodrigo, yes, Jill, do you understand this game?
Yes. Yeah, it does make a lot of sense.
So
Yes.
it, you see, the more we recite this story to ourselves and to others, it doesn't matter if we meet a friend that we did not meet for 5 years and suddenly she comes into town and we exchange. But the more we recite those details, the more we locked ourselves because we are not connected to the body. The body that we have, we are not having this, the soul works through the channel called or vehicle called body. The more we associate with the body, the more we jail ourselves in. And there's a lot of suffering coming from this story. Why? Because it's a lie. It's a lie. Jill was granted with a name at birth. Why? Because now she can act as an acting figure. She is a character in this story, in God's story, so to speak. So Jill was granted with a name, and with a family, and with a school and college, and all of this. But the more Jill will recite those facts, so to speak, or really random details, the more she will believe she is only this. But she is not. She is not. She is everything. Now, if she will believe she is Jill, she will only go to this college, to this school. She will only talk to those people who are just what? Embedding her story again and again. She will not meet new friends. She will not travel other countries or meet other cultures because this is who I am, so to speak. This is Jill. Oh, this is Rodrigo. I was born here and I speak Portuguese and so on. And this is my uncle and this is my aunt. And, just the more we cleave to these random details, the more we're closing ourselves in. And the more suffering comes because it's not true. It is not true. Just to give you an example, if we, all of us, were sitting in a room and writing a screen or a movie or a play for the theater, we would say, okay, this story is about a guy who's going to college and now he's going to meet the love of his life. So we're sitting in a room. And so, okay, if this is the story, this is, let's say, the grain of the story. What name shall we give this guy? He's now going to college. Which name fits this guy? So we should think this one, it fits. That he drives cars and he's just dating everyone, another girl. And which name will really catch the character? And then we grant this dude a name, and then this is how the play goes or the movie goes. But this is just a play. This is just a theater. And the actor that will go to play this John, he just will play the one who drives every day a new car and dates another girl. And so, because this is what the action figure demands. Once this actor, they say cut, the director say cut, finish, they go to drink, they're completely different people. They're not limited to this John who has a car or every day drives another car, date another girl in the evening. In a way, it's the same thing. We are convinced that this is Jill. And if one moment I will not recite the whole, so to speak, facts, not facts, but database around Jill, if I will not recite, this is what the brain does, all beating. This is it, this is my friend, this is my college, this is my teacher, this is my car, this is my... And this is reinforcing Jill. But Jill, this is just a cast. It's like a dressing. When we go to let's say a concert in the evening, so we have like a nightgown, like a like, or people wear tuxedo, like to respect. This is just a dressing. This is just a shell. The name that holds this Acting figure is just a shell. Is this clear? This is not who we are. And if somebody insult another name, like in class, this is what they do. They say, John, you loser, da, 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 da. They poking children, yes, in words. They say the name, and the name is a loser, and you lost. Yes, you lost your friends in the game, and you don't have friends at all. This is how they poke children in school or in general. They insult the name. And we are so associated with the name and the reputation, which is completely nothing. Like you open, let's say, chocolate or a candy bar, and there's just the paper around it. This is the name. This is not what the being is inside at all. This is why the verse, yes, of the second book of Moses opens in the word Ve'ele Shmot. And these are the names of the children of Israel, sons of Israel, Haba'im Mitzrayim. The English says children. The Hebrew is Bnei Israel, the sons of Israel, meaning the children of tree of life. Haba'im, which are coming at this moment, not in the past. It is written in present tense, which are coming to Egypt now. Because now we say Jill, we say Fernando, we say Rodrigo, we say Abigail. Because we're saying the names now, it means there's space and time, and those names are appearing in space and time. Those names are granted to the action figure in us. But this is not who we are. Rodrigo, any questions that you would like to ask? The less we are associated with the action figure, with the name, with the story, with the family, with the aunts, with the uncles, with the stories that we were fed all our lives. This is my family, this is my story. They came such and such to this region. Somebody settled there, somebody settled in a village, in a city. The more we recite, yes, the more suffering happens inside because it's not true. Yes, yes, Rodrigo? Yes, with our essence and these social roles. How can we reach this? We don't need to reach, we don't need to arrive anywhere. We don't reach just to drop, to release the story about Rodrigo, let's say, as an action figure. We don't need to arrive. We don't need to take an airplane to arrive to the being. Just drop, to drop. You know what to drop is? In English, to drop. To leave the story that I'm telling myself about Rodrigo. Because Rodrigo is not a father, he is not a son, he is not a husband, he is not a friend. Do you understand that? Because Rodrigo and Fernando and Zeno and Yanis and Cindy and Abigail, they are all of us, yes? It's the sun and the moon and the Jill and the stars and the flowers and the trees and the bees and the seagulls and the dolphins. Yes? When we are, let's say, and this is the heaviness that comes with the, so to speak, the story that you don't understand. Somebody once told me, you don't understand, he says. I am the father, he says. You don't understand. When people buy into this bullshit, that they are the fathers, they are the mothers, they are the children, they are the sisters, they are the brothers, I don't know what else, the grandfathers, the granddaddies. It's just an invention. It makes people how do you say, foggy. It's how do you say it? It puts a curtain between life or being present in the moment or attending the moment. Yes, and they miss life because they live in the story. They're not. Do you understand? People living in the story. One day we were going several years ago. We were going. There was once a market in Haifa, like ancient market. Hey, let's go and buy some dates, like. And there was a guy there. Hey, you can pick all kinds of dried fruit and so and nuts and pick yourself. And came a granny behind. So he wanted to respect her. So he called her mother. He says, Ima, here, from respect, elderly lady, the owner of the shop called her Ima, in Hebrew, mother. And she was from a Russian background. And she came with a finger, a pointing finger. And she said, I will say in Russian accent and then I will translate it to you. She said, Lo Ima, Zavta. And translate, not mother, a grandmother. Meaning you will give me the respect of the fact that I'm a grandmother, the mother of the mother. You just don't call me Ima, mother, to give me respect. I'm a grandmother. This is a narration. And when people speak like this, it means they are far off. When they take themselves as grandmother, I am the mother of this child and nobody will tell me what to do. I know better. Here is a little experiment or something that happened really in truly life. They went into England 2 years ago and they gathered like 6 children at the age of between 6, 7, something like that. Children with families, nice families in England. And they show the parents that there is a possibility to give them very good education. Yes, yes, yes. You see, it goes, yeah, very well, very well. People, yes, yes, human is being, yes, yes. So those 5 or 6 children in England were offered to send their children to a boarding school in Switzerland because they wanted to offer like a good education for the children. But there was a need to take the children from their parents' home and to send them to the boarding school in Switzerland that has different, let's say, concept of education than every day to go from home for hours into the local school. And one of the mothers started crying in front of the camera. She agreed to this experiment to take the children a couple of weeks, but she was still crying in front of the camera. And what was the crying about? She was saying, now, and the interviewer asked her, why are you crying? And she said, now I can not brush her hair, make her ponytail in the morning. And interviewer says, but you have a dog. This dog is like, how do you say, poodle, and you make your poodle ponytail every morning, which you see in the camera. And then she was crying, and then I cannot take her into the park to walk with her anymore. And the interviewer said, but you go every day with your poodle to the park. So what is the difference? And you understand, it is quite interesting that this mother or the other in the picture, they were relating to their children as puppets, something that they do. They take them to the hairdresser, they brush their hair, they take them to walk. This is what the same properties that they do with a dog. And it was hard for them to receive that this is not education. So they took the children to Switzerland, and the agreement was that 1 week the children will not speak with voice by voice to the parents, because the voice engage like attachment. So 1 week they will not speak to them when they are in the boarding school. And after 1 week they didn't want to hear from home at all, like it never was. The interesting thing that the educator told the mothers that they would like to grant them a good education, and the mothers or the parents, they disagree because they say, we know better. We are the parents. We know better what is good for the child. And let's say the people of the school in Switzerland, they say, you don't know what is good for the child or what is the potential in the child. In a way, the parents, and this is the interesting thing, the parents are the most, how do you say, blind to their children. They're incapable of seeing them as beings. Was, I think, was a very nice, remarkable conversation, and you could see the children and how they, in a way, there is an agreement. Once people are having children, they just cannot see the child as a being. But this is what is the binding of Isaac. This is why there is this story of binding of Isaac. There is no father and no son. There is no need in sacrificing anything. This is a being and this is human being. This is it. So it is quite simple. Whenever we feel heavy, and it happens, there's the narration going on inside all the time. Drop it. This narration is just an invention. This is what the machine does. When the machine is born, is bored, yes, so it will recite the facts on and on and on again, so to speak. And it will enforce us again to be this tiny little action figure. Just drop it. It's not who you are. It's not who we are. And this is it. Questions or thoughts, please feel free to ask or to say whatever comes to you. Yes, Fernando?
Moment and shalom,
Shalom.
friends.
Shalom, shalom. How do you do?
Fine and happy to be here. I have a question, Iti.
Yes.
Uh, to give just a little context, I'm following reading this beautiful book from Mircea Eliade, and yesterday I was reading about the sacred time, where he speaks about Yom Kippur, that in the sacred time it is a new creation, let's say. Every time that it happens, we pass through a sacred time. It is a ritual. It can be, say, portrayed as a ritual that is a new creation. So he brings a lot of examples in different cultures from this new creation. Like passed through that gate where a new world is born. and it's quite like this, it is like the old world vanished, vanished. You are not the one who was before. The world is not the one who was before. It is a new creation. It is a new world. Have he even quotes the 12 breads in the temple, like we have 12 new breads, uh, breads to eat to make different. Let's say. He starts to speak about these rituals of creating a new perspective, a new world, a new individual. And he speaks about the rituals of purification. Um, I was wondering if we could bound this idea that we can leave old creation behind, let's say, and to start it new. And I was wondering now, for the let's say for the rituals that occurs like the caparot. I was wondering about this ritual. Like I know that is for me it is quite strange, but I was thinking if why people do this. If it is a literalism, what would be a different just opportunity to simple being or something like this.
The concept is to in the concept in Yom Kippur or Day of Atonement is to realize that you're not the doer, you're not the maker, you are not the figure that you are associated with, like your name, your life story. This is what it is about. There is a day for this, let's say once a year, but it's every moment like this. Every moment we would have this notion that we are not the action figures. Because what is coming with the action figures is this wrong belief that I am the doer. So if I'm the doer, I might have mistake. Yes, I could done this better or sooner or later or before. I could do this different, and then starts a fight inside. This is what it does. This is what the brain does. And it's not true. Is this understood? Who needs, you can ask, who needs forgiveness? Because usually Yom Kippurim is Day of Atonement is comes with a sense of forgiveness. But who needs forgiveness? The action figure, the one who believes that he is the general, and under his command 10,000 soldiers died. Who needs forgiveness? Who? Being does not need forgiveness. This is why we speak about not to be associated with it. Just to drop the idea that we have names and we have stories and we have narration. Quite simple. Is it understood? Do you understand it that way, Fernando?
I understand it. I totally agree with you. And really understand. I can remember quotes from uh, Pieter de Breslav, which speaks that each moment the Torah is new, like
Yes.
everything is new.
Yes.
Uh, but what do you think about this? Know that each time is sacred, cannot be
Moment.
each moment is sacred, but
Yes.
this special moment that is a gift for us, right? Because sometimes we are drowned into the worldliness. So
Just don't
this,
buy it.
yes, but this moment save us from like, oh,
Yes.
now I have
Yes.
a new
Yes.
opportunity,
Mhm.
opportunity like it
Yes.
to
Yes.
just be.
Yes. Just don't buy to the story that we're going outside as like titles, let's say, or I go outside as a professor and I go outside as a general, like you said, and I go outside as a mayor. It's not true. Of course, it's not true. If we go outside, but it's impossible to live life like this because it's like when people go like this every day that I am this one, and it's just to live life from the perspective of controlling, because the action figure, what does the action figure what's control, because it supports the sense that we are the doers. If I go that, I take this car, take this road, 70 goes to 90 junctions, yes, but it's not true, just not true. And when we drop this sense of that we are the doers, it is being is loose. You don't we don't go with the, how do you say, with the, what Goliath went to the battle with armor, because the doer will always go to the world, to life, with a sense of an armor. I am against the world because I'm acting in the world, so I'm outside of this world. Even if we don't speak like this is what happens inside. But when there's no action figure, so whatever happens in the moment happens in the moment. Just like we can experience, or we can live life like more full, not just in this narration that I'm going from A to B, and so see what happens. Go, you know, because we can ask even deeper. Who think, let's say, that, let's say, Rodrigo think about himself, about Rodrigo, let's say, and the story of his life, yes. But all around, all of this, let's say, planet Earth, there are 8 billion people. Who knows about the story of Rodrigo? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 100. But 8 billion or so. Nobody knows that even Rodrigo exists. So who is being nourished? And this is the question. Who is being nourished? Or what is being nourished from this storytelling or the narration? Only the action figure. And the action figure is not real. It's like if we go to this example of the screen, right, that we are writing. If John is a college guy and he needs every day to drive a new car and to have a date with another girl. So as writers, we shall fill the gaps, and the director and the cast, the, the cast or the person who is in charge of casting will choose the right guy that will fit and enter to those details. But the action figures needs this story to run the plot. Which plot? The action figure will say, this is the story of my life. This is why I need to hang on those details. This is the story of my life. And the story, don't be mistaken, the story is not just words. Inside of the brain, the story or the story that we tell ourselves is like a fortress. This is my uncle and this is my aunt and they live there and my grandpa lives there, and it's like a fortress inside. And one day people are moving to the next life or leaving their body, or people are living, immigrating to another country or relocate, and all of this fortress is being destroyed. And people are mourning because they lost something or someone. But what is being lost is just the sense of narration. Because the story does not exist. When people are passing away from all kinds of reasons, what happens? When people, let's say in houses, there are children and they arrive to this age of this college, and they leave home because they go to another university, they find a friend, they go to live with their friends or so. For the parents or for the people who live in this house, the children is like a pillar because they see him every day. They go with their friends, they're coming. And suddenly, when those children are spacing the space or not being attending the space anymore, the worlds of the parents are being shattered, so to speak. So who tells himself this story? Who needs this story? Only the action figure. The less we hold or hang on those details that try to portray us, an action figure, a story, the less we hang on or drop those story, the more we live life in a free way, in a broad way. It is quite simple. It is quite interesting because now when there's internet, people can log in into forums or something. You can always invent yourself a name. Yes? You can always come, write in a post or a comment. You can invent yourself a name. You can call yourself Butterfly 23, Winter 65. But the more try to do this exercise, how much we are attached to our names. Just to log into another site, write something, just see how much it just. Some people, they're so associated with their names that even the emails takes their names or so. And try to make this exercise. Just see what happens if you just let loose, drop the sense of this is the story and I'm the action figure, like if I know what I have to do. Yes, yes. So, and the interesting thing is that when we are not associated with the action figure, because what the action figure, he has one thing in his head, he knows. What the action figure, he knows, he has a name, he has few details, and he knows, so he acts as he is knowing something. The great freedom to when we drop this sense of action figure, we live life as virgins of not knowing, and this is in a way the great salvation. Yes, 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 yes. Try to do this. Try to do this. I used to write once comments several years ago, and I didn't like to use the name. So every time I used to write a comment under a different name. So I think I have at least 300 names in this blog. I didn't like what they write, so I always try to offer alternative ways to look at things. But if I would come with the same name, they would kick me. So I use the 300 names or so. And this is how I used to offer alternatives all the time of alternative thinking or take about, what the topic. Yes, 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 yes. It's a very good example. Yes, the Portuguese. Yes, yes. It's a very, very good example. Very good example. Yes, it's beautiful. Try to make this exercise. Yes, and sign not by your name. Take any. Yes, yes. Take any name that you want. There is a beautiful series that, again, British series, uh, all creatures, great and small. All creatures, great and small. And this is a series that was produced after a serious serial. So a few books that were written by a veterinarian in north of England, in Yorkshire, in the 30s or the 40s of the last century. And he did not write the books under his name. He wrote the books under a pseudonym, like, let's say, borrowed name. And the series of books was so successful that it was produced in England. They took the books and they produced from the books like 12 years of TV series, 12 years from 1978 until 1990. And now they came with a, let's say, with a new version because it's so successful. And he wrote the, how do you say, those books or those happenings under a pseudonym, not under his name. Invent yourself a name. Whenever you write comment, invent something. You can also log in here under other. You try to make this carnival already now. You can also log here. Yes, just try to see if you can do it. Some people cannot. Some people can't do it. They cannot wear or come with another name or with just drop the sense of their name and personality. You can log into Discord under another name. Try to see if you'd like to play this game, if it's easy for you. Just an example. It once you come through another name or perspective, this is not in a way you. What a relief. You can do whatever you like. You can dress, you can color your hair, you can be any name, you can be a butterfly, you can be a seagull, you can be a bee, you can produce honey. Everything is open. So, with this beautiful message, we are not the doers. And with this weekly portion, Parashat Shmot, Ve'ele Shmot, yes, we can get a space from the name. The name always comes with the action figure. Once this action figure is put aside, there's a lot of relief. So, with this beautiful message, I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here, for your patience until we got the right room and the right sound system. Thank you so much. Yes, Rodrigo? You will be surprised, Rodrigo, once you drop the story, how much life are coming inside. Once you drop the story about oneself, you cannot imagine what kind of stream of life is coming inside. Just you're afraid to let loose. But once we drop the story, so much liveliness comes inside, and you get rid of so much heaviness. You get rid of so much heaviness and suffering that it's unimaginable to think. Thank you so much, and shalom, shalom, and see you soon. Very soon. You can also borrow yourself like names here. You can log in to Discord. You can take an exercise, come under other names, and see how does it feel for you. Thank you so much, and have a blessed week. Toda and shalom.